The website Electrek, which I'm sure many of you read, has once again made some pretty sensational Tesla claims. They claim that Tesla is slipping in the US, losing market share, and that this is an issue we should be worried about. Now, they're not the only ones. Some analysts who are very pro General Motors and Ford, interesting that, isn't it, claim the same things. Is this actually true? Is this an accurate predictor of the success of a company? I would argue it's not. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Now, to those of you who are watching, around 60% of people who view the channel actually haven't yet subscribed. If you guys could subscribe, that would be awesome for the algorithm. Thank you for doing it if you already have. And also a big thanks to our Patreon supporters. If you'd like to support the channel on Patreon, I'll put a link in the description below. And if you'd like to be a channel member, I'll put a link in the description below to that as well. If you want to become a channel member, you get access to some of our videos a couple of days in advance. Tesla's EV volume has significantly increased in the US this year, but Electrek says they're losing market share and we should be concerned about that. Now, Tesla has really emphasized the fact that really they think that 10% market share would still be a good number. Not now, but 10% market share in 2030 would be a good figure. Now, 10% market share of the global automotive industry as a whole would be around 7 million vehicles per year. So I'm not sure 10% is what Tesla want. If they want to do 10 to 20 million vehicle sales. Now, obviously, Elon has mentioned 20 million. I think that's more of a stretch goal. I think the realistic goal for Tesla is closer to 10 million vehicles per year by 2030. And I think they're going to have one strong competitor that will be selling similar numbers. So basically, we're going to see Toyota and Volkswagen lose their first and second place positions. And those two newcomers by 2030, in my view, prediction, will be BYD and Tesla, who will be battling it out. They'll be the new Volkswagen and Toyota. Sort of like the way that, remember when we used to say, oh, who could have possibly imagined a future, right? There wasn't Nokia phones. Who could have imagined when 80% of the market wasn't Nokia, Ericsson, BlackBerry? Those three companies had pretty much all the market, right? And then all of a sudden, Apple became a big company. The thing is, right, Apple doesn't need to have 80% market share. They only have 20%, but they make more money selling one phone than their competitors do selling three. That's a true story. So in my view, what matters even more than this shock and horror over market share is actually things like profitability. Profitability and growth in your business. Do you have a long-term strategy? I mean, for example, right now, what is Apple's long-term strategy? They have so much. They have more than $100 billion in cash. They don't know what to do with it. So they've invested, or sort of invested, if you call it investing, a lot of that into building their own electric car. And nothing's happened. It's been happening. They've been working on it for 10 years, and we've seen nothing come out of that. I believe right now, Apple, they're a little bit like a ship floating around in a harbor with no captain. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger gives that speech, right? Where he says you need a vision and a plan for the future. What's Apple's vision and plan for the future? What gets you excited when you wake up about what Apple are doing? Me, I have nothing. I mean, I have an Apple phone, but I don't believe they really have a true vision and plan for the future. Whereas Tesla, on the other hand, are always talking about their vision and plan for the future. They may only achieve 50% of that, but even 50% of the grand vision that they have for the future, in my view, would be a good thing not only for them, not only for investors, but for the world as a whole. Now, Tesla's market share in the US has dropped, but the automaker still owns 2/3 of a growing electric vehicle market. So this is not a zero-sum game. This is not a pie with 8 slices. This is a pie that's getting bigger, right? So the number of slices is actually increasing. For years now, Tesla has dominated the electric auto market in its home country, the United States. Now, Electrek says it is expected that Tesla's hold on the market will erode as more EV options hit and help grow the US market. But for now, the US market is extremely dependent on Tesla's production and deliveries. For the entire year of 2020, Tesla vehicles accounted for 79% of all EVs registered in the US. In 2021, that figure went down to 70%. This year, it's now down to 66%. According to new registration data from Experian, Tesla now has about 2/3 of the EV market in the US. That's as of August 2022. Electrek says Ford and Hyundai are making strides with second and third place, which actually isn't true if you look at the sales from September. That's changed. But anyway, let's have a look at August. Number 1, Tesla Model Y with 135,000 deliveries in the US. Number 2, surprisingly, Model 3 nearly matched those sales figures with 124,000 deliveries. Way back in third place was the Mach-E with 25,600. Then in fourth was the Tesla Model S with 20,000. Fifth, Tesla Model X with 19,740. And shockingly, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which in sales declined again for the third month in a row in September, was in sixth with only 16,929 deliveries. Now, I'm really surprised at that. I mean, everyone talks about Model S and Model X as though they're just irrelevant vehicles that have no place in the discussion on EVs because they're just niche selling vehicles. I'm sure you get that impression, right? Model S, Model X, no one really talks about them. But, I mean, Model S and Model X together, massively outsold the Mach-E. Even the Model S by itself was only 5,500 deliveries away from the Mach-E, which is, talked about all the time by the media. Now, you add those two together, you're looking at 40,000 vehicle sales in a single month. 40,000 in a single month. That's enormous for a company like Mercedes. If Mercedes was able just to sell 40,000 EVs globally in a single month, they'd be pretty happy with that. Now, looking at seventh place, Kia EV6. Kia EV6 sales declined again in the US in August. They also declined again in September. Electrek hasn't mentioned this at all. Ioniq 5 and Kia EV6 sales in the United States have actually declined for 3 straight months. This appears not to be anything to do with demand. I think there's big demand for those cars. They're really good cars. I've said that on this channel a lot of times. And I've also said on this channel a lot of times, I don't think they should win World Car of the Year because Hyundai and Kia simply don't plan on making enough of them. What that means is probably only 1% of the people globally that want to buy one of these cars can actually get their hands on one. Now, try to get your hands on them in Australia. They're very difficult to buy, extremely difficult. Number 8, the Chevy Bolt EUV, 11,800. By the way, I should mention, Chevy General Motors did ramp their production of the Bolt significantly in September. The sales jumped big time again from August. So well done to them there. And I think Chevy could sell probably maybe 50,000 a month of these vehicles at the price they sell them at now. They're very affordable. Could they do that from a company perspective? No, because they're loss leaders. They make a loss on these vehicles. That's true. That's not sensationalist. That's true. But hey, I personally, to be honest, if I could get a Bolt EUV for $25,000, I'd be more than happy to take one of those. So General Motors, come bring them to Australia and sell them for those prices here in Australia. It's never going to happen, but that would be cool if they did. 10th place, Nissan Leaf, 8,740. Now, Electrek says that Tesla's supremacy is not expected to be challenged much in the short term in the US due to its massive lead, but several electric vehicles are expected to see significant ramp-ups in the short term. General Motors recently announced a big boost in EV deliveries in the fourth quarter, and Ford's F-150 Lightning production is still ramping up. So, Ford has said that they are the second largest manufacturer of EVs in the US, but it appears from what I'm seeing from September deliveries that General Motors might have just overtaken them. We'll soon find out. So, Tesla is the only automaker in the United States selling in the 6 figures. It's not even close. No one is even anywhere near what they're doing. But I do think Tesla will actually start to increase these production numbers in the US. Why? Well, obviously, Gigafactory Texas is ramping production up of its vehicles. But I actually think those vehicles are going to come down in price. I think Tesla's vehicle prices will come down around about 5% in the US within the next 6 months. That's my prediction. Could even be slightly more, but I'm going to go with 5%. We'll see what happens. Let me know if you agree or you disagree in the comment section below. I believe one of the key reasons for this is, as you know, the standard range Model 3 and Model Y in the US, they use lithium iron phosphate batteries, which come from CATL. Those batteries are about to get a significant energy density increase. This will allow Tesla to use less batteries in their vehicles and it won't cost them any more money because CATL, who supply Tesla with those batteries, said those batteries will cost the same price for Tesla. That means it will cost Tesla less to make an EV, right? They already make really good profit margins. I believe Tesla has the ability to actually decrease their prices and still make industry-leading profit margins. Remember, they are manufacturing huge numbers of vehicles globally. Their prices actually are higher in the US than I think any other market in the world, which is crazy considering they make cars in the US, in California and Texas. So obviously it's much cheaper for Tesla to actually ship a car from California to California, right? Or, Texas to Texas or Texas to Florida. So realistically, Tesla are capable of reducing prices. I do think they will. Let me know if you agree or you disagree. Now, other vehicles in this list, for example, the Bolt EUV, or just the Bolt, right? Or the Ioniq 5, or the Kia EV6, all of these vehicles would sell in very big numbers if their manufacturers made lots of them. But they don't. And I don't really think they plan on making lots of them, at least for the next couple of years. But let me know what you think. What's your prediction? Who's going to be the second biggest automaker, the second biggest electric car manufacturer in the US in 2025? Let's go with it. Let's hear it. Let me know who you think it's going to be. Will it be GM? Will it be Ford? Will it be Hyundai? Will it be someone else? What are your thoughts on that? Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.